Jason, please show me the answers to questions 8 to 12 and the short ones too.
Raj whispered, leaning in just close enough for me to hear, though we were barely a desk apart. I kept my focus on my paper, scribbling the answers as if I hadn't heard him. Why should I waste my time helping him? I thought. Raj was a close friend, but the desperation in his voice told me everything I knew he hadn't studied. He never did. His indifference toward school and his endless drinking meant he wasn't going to pass this exam. At least not this time.
Come on, bro. Just show me whatever you can. I just need to pass.
His voice cracked, making me feel strangely proud. A sick satisfaction bloomed within me. It felt good to have the answers so close to him, just out of reach. For a second, I considered helping. But then the bell rang. Only 30 minutes left. I wasn't going to waste my time for Raj's sake. It wasn't my responsibility. He had to deal with the consequences of his actions. Still, something inside me relented. I slowly lifted the edge of my paper, careful to keep an eye on the teacher, whose gaze seemed to cut through the room like a hawk's. My small act of kindness could cost me, but I enjoyed watching Raj scribble down my answers so fast, I could almost hear the paper tearing from the pressure. It felt like handing a beggar a plate of food. After the exam, Raj approached me. I avoided his eyes but caught a glimpse as he neared. My attention shifted to the half-empty coffee mug in my hand, the burnt-out cigarette I was absently fiddling with.
Thanks for the last-minute help. You really gave me a shot at passing,
he said, gratitude in his voice. I had to. I began, but before I could finish, his hand slapped my shoulder, cutting me off. Have a cup, I muttered. Returning to my dorm, the weight of the next exam loomed over me. My roommate greeted me with that stupid smile, the kind that said, "I'm failing, but I'll still act like I don't care," which only made me feel superior. I lit a cigarette, leaned back, and scrolled through Facebook. 21 notifications. That was a lot for me. I'd unfollowed most people to avoid the clutter of social media. But this time, something caught my eye, a flood of condolences on someone's profile. I clicked, intrigued. It belonged to a guy named Rick. Belonged because he was dead. The posts flooded in his family, his friends, even rivals. Everyone was mourning him. Why did Rick kill himself? It seemed cowardly, but I quickly pushed the thought away, forced to focus on my exams.
Do you have a cigarette?
My roommate asked, snapping me out of my thoughts. I muttered, handing him one, my attention already back on the problem in front of me. Later, I sent Raj a message. I found a dead guy's account on Facebook today. He hanged himself. Raj, hanging takes a lot of courage. The pain's so bad, people often lose control of their bladder or bowels. Enough with the facts already, Raj. I was irritated, so I decided to step outside for some air. I needed to clear my head. I tried to focus again later, but the fatigue weighed on me. My roommate was already asleep, soft snores filling the room. I switched off the light, but the silence was suffocating. My mind, overwhelmed by the day's events, refused to shut off. I tried to sleep, but my thoughts were relentless. Rick's face, his lifeless eyes kept haunting me. The image clung to me like a nightmare I couldn't shake. Fear, I realized, is a creation of the mind. In the dark, alone with our thoughts, we become our own worst enemy. I tried to shut it out, tried to force my mind to forget, but as I closed my eyes, I saw it. A rope, hanging from the ceiling, swaying gently. I forced myself to open my eyes, but there it was, Still, there an oppressive weight in the air. I couldn't escape it. The room grew colder, impossibly so, a sudden chill that seemed to squeeze the air out of my lungs. My body trembled as an oppressive energy seeped in. My heart hammered in my chest, my breath shallow and erratic. I wanted to move, but I couldn't. Fear isn't just a chemical reaction. It's a response to the suffocating weight of what our minds can create. I needed to get up. I needed to move. But as I fumbled for the edge of the bed, an icy chill ran up my spine, wrapping around me like a deathly embrace. My eyes shot open, but there was nothing. Nothing but the crushing blackness. The door was locked. Not from the inside, but from the outside. My pulse quickened, panic rising. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My throat was tight, constricted. I spun around, my heart thudding in my ears. Soft whispers filled the room, but no one was there. The words were incomprehensible, but they were close to close. I rushed to the door, pounding against it with all my strength. Let me out, please. Minutes dragged on until finally the door creaked open. I stumbled into the hallway, gasping for air, but there was nothing. Just my stupid roommate, standing there like nothing happened. He'd locked me in. It was his stupid way of making sure thieves couldn't get in. I cursed him under my breath, anger swelling up inside me. Why couldn't he just let me do things my way? Then I saw it, his eyes, wide, frozen in place, as if something had paralyzed him. It wasn't right. It wasn't normal. A chill ran down my spine as I tried to speak, but my words died in my throat. I staggered back to my bed, shaking. Desperate to distract myself, I opened Facebook again, scrolling through my feed in a daze. But then a message popped up. Rick, hi. My stomach twisted. This couldn't be real. Confused, I stared at the screen. There was no way this could be happening. Rick was dead. His account should have been deactivated. I must be hallucinating. I typed back, my hands shaking. Me, hi. I stared at my phone, my heart pounding in my chest. The words on the screen blurred together as I tried to make sense of them. Rick, are you confused? Confused? Of course, I was confused. How could this be happening? Rick, this name, this stranger, this person I didn't recognize, the person that shouldn't be here, let alone texting, was somehow talking to me, and it felt like the walls of my world were closing in. I couldn't place him. I had never met him before, but the messages kept coming, each one more unsettling than the last. Rick, you once stole $500 from your dad's wallet. My breath caught in my throat. How did he know about that? I had stolen the money years ago, a stupid mistake I'd buried deep down, hidden from everyone, especially my family. No one knew. No one but me. So how did this Rick know? I rubbed my eyes, trying to shake the fog that seemed to be clouding my brain. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. Rick, I know what you've done, and I had been watching you. My chest tightened. The words felt too personal, too specific. I slammed the phone down onto my bed, but the feeling didn't go away. It was still there, creeping inside me, making my skin crawl. My heart raced as I picked the phone back up, my fingers shaking as I typed a reply, trying to push the panic away. Me, enough. Stop playing games. The phone buzzed almost instantly. Rick, you've been acting weird, Jays. Is everything okay? You look tired. You look like you've seen something, but I'm sure you're fine. I froze. Tired? I had seen something. The words hit me hard, and I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. How did he know? What the hell was going on? I couldn't breathe. This was all too much. I typed back, my fingers trembling on the screen. Me, who the hell are you? The phone buzzed again, faster this time. Rick, come on, Jays. Don't be like that. The truth hurts, huh? You need to face it. You need to know what happened to me. Why you can't escape. I almost dropped the phone. The truth? What truth? I didn't know this guy. I'd never met him in my life. So why did it feel like he knew me? Like he was speaking some kind of hidden language only I could understand. I paced around the room, my head spinning. What was happening? I didn't know what was real anymore. The frustration started to rise, mixing with confusion and fear. Me, stop messing with me. I swear I don't know who you are. But Rick didn't stop. His next message made my stomach drop. Rick, I've been here with you the whole time. The words were like ice in my veins. What did he mean by that? I couldn't escape the feeling that something was very, very wrong. Something was slipping through my fingers, and I couldn't hold onto it. The phone buzzed again, a constant reminder that I was trapped in something I couldn't understand. Rick, remember that time we skipped that stupid lecture and went to that old arcade? Good times, right? The memories hit me like a punch to the gut. The arcade. I remembered it, but how did Rick know? How could he be talking about it like we were friends? Like we'd done it together? But I hadn't known him. I'd never known him. Rick was dead. I knew he was dead. So why was he texting me? Why was he accusing me of things I didn't even remember? I had to know. I had to get answers. Me, who are you? What do you want from me? Rick, you've been avoiding me, haven't you? Running from the truth. From me. I'm right here, Jason. Can't you see me? I could feel my body going numb, the words crashing over me like waves. See him? What did he mean by that? I looked around the room, my heart pounding. I didn't see him. There was no one there. But somehow I could feel him. Like something was right behind me, breathing down my neck. My phone buzzed again. I didn't want to read it. I couldn't bear it anymore. But my hands moved without my consent. I looked down at the screen. Rick, you're never going to escape me. You know the truth. And now you'll never escape me. My breath caught in my throat. The words felt like a sentence, sealing my fate. Escape him? What did he mean? I could feel the panic rising in my chest, tightening, making it hard to breathe. I dropped the phone onto the bed, my hands shaking. I didn't know what was happening anymore. My whole world was turning upside down. Nothing made sense. The room felt smaller, suffocating, as though the walls were closing in on me. I tried to focus, but my mind was fragmented, slipping away. The phone buzzed again. I didn't want to look at it, but I did anyway. Rick, you can't hide, Jays. I felt the world spin, the edges of reality blurring. I had to escape, but there was nowhere to run. And somehow deep down, I knew Rick wasn't just some random guy. He was something much worse. He was already here, and I couldn't get away. I looked at the screen, my heart pounding. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I had no choice. I was trapped.
Enough.
My girlfriend, Leela, screamed, snapping me out of my thoughts as I typed furiously on my laptop. What? I replied. looking up as she grabbed my face.
You're the worst writer ever.
She teased, hitting me playfully. I was working on a ghost story for a competition, but I couldn't figure out how to end it. My character was a jerk, and according to the flow of the story, he would begin to slowly grow immune to fear, and I couldn't find way make him vulnerable to make the story continue the way I want. As I lightly hit her back, she gave me a look that melted my heart. She grabbed a pillow and started hitting me with it. I have to submit this story, I exclaimed, remembering the deadline. I needed to finish and revise it before sending it. So with much pain in my heart, I sadly have to depart, my dear beloved, I said dramatically, standing to grab my manuscript. But before I could, my phone rang. Leela narrowed her eyes. Oh, see, this is why I love you so much, my dear hubby. I blushed. She spoke of other things, but I could not concentrate because on the screen, a familiar name appeared. Rick. Hi.